Sometimes I brought the book with me, the one about the girl named Alice, who followed the hair-like creature down the burrow. I looked at the pictures and remembered the tea party she had, and how her body had become small and large again. But I still did not know what happened to her at the end of that burrow. Did she catch the hare? In late May, when the sun stood constant watch in the sky, and night traversed it only briefly like the shadow of a passing bird's wing, I found my father preparing the hides of animals he had collected from his trap line. I knew the topic was forbidden, but I could not silence my heart another day. I asked him once again to allow me to go to school. The outsiders do not teach you how to hunt, he said, pointing his knife at the fox he was about to skin. They only use your knowledge of making snares for their own profit and send you to gather the animals from their trap lines. They do not teach you how to cure meat and clean fish so that you can live off of the land. They feed you cabbage soup and porridge. They do not teach you how to make parkas and kamek, he said, eyeing the beautifully crafted delta braid on my parka and the embroidered fur-lined boots on my feet. They make you wear their scratchy outsiders' clothes, which keep you out neither the mosquitoes nor the cold. They teach you their songs and dances instead of our own, your own. And they tell you that the spirit inside of you is bad and needs their forgiveness. And I had already learned a lot about hunting, trapping, and curing foods. My friend Agnes, who was 10, had already gone to the school. She told me that the nuns made you sew all of the time. It would not be difficult to learn to sew parkas and kamek if I was used to sewing all of the time. And how could I ever forget our songs and our dances? They were a part of me. But I had once heard the outsiders' beautiful chants resonating from the church in Tuk Toyak Tuk, and I dreamed of learning to make such music. I would be careful to stay out of trouble, and no one would say I had to kneel and ask forgiveness. They would see that my spirit was good. On the bottom here it says Delta braid because she mentioned the Delta braid on her parka up here. And they're letting us know that a Delta braid is a decoration made by cutting patterns from long strips of fabric and layering them on each other. They're used to decorate Mother Hubbard parkas, big coats. I would be patient, but I would not give up. I would wait and ask my father again. And time melted away. My 8th birthday came and went, and the sea began to wake from its slumber and I knew it would not be long before the ice broke from the shore and was carried out to be swallowed by the ocean. Soon, all of us, my father and the other hunters and trappers, along with their families, would leave our winter home on Banks Island to carry boatloads of pelts to Aklavik or Aklavik. The outsiders had many islands to scour for children during the short summer season, and ours was a long distance from Aklavik. As it was so far for them to travel, it was unlikely that we would be there when they came. My father was my only hope. One day in late June, I looked up from staring at the book I was so desperate to read and saw that the enormous splintering chunks of ice had left enough of a gap to allow us passage. I slammed the book shut, sped down the hill, and ran along the rocky shore as fast as I could, which was fast because my legs were muscular and strong. I was determined and ready to ask again. Father, please, can I go to school this year? I huffed in heavy breaths, darting through the small groups of men who were loading the schooners for the journey. My father heaved a bale of white fox pelts over the edge of the North Star. His answer had not changed. No. Please, I begged. You can drop me at Aklavik when you go for supplies. And my father paused to swat away a mosquito. He looked into my eyes. You are a stubborn girl, he told me, and the outsiders do not like stubborn children. Please, I said, again. Please. He crouched to my height. He picked up a rock with one of his hands and held it out to me. Do you see this rock? It was once jagged and full of sharp, jutting points, but the water of the ocean slapped and slapped at it, carrying away its angles and edges. And now it is nothing but a small pebble. That is what the outsiders will do to you at the school. But, Father, the water did not change the stone inside the rock. Besides, I am not a rock. I am a girl. I can move. I am not stuck upon the shore for eternity. You are a clever one, he said, touching my cheek and then looking down at the book in my hand. Does that mean I can go? My hope blossomed, billowing beneath my parka, and he looked deep into my eyes, and the rock held tightly in his fist. I suppose it is the only way I will hear the end of it. I turned to run and tell my mother the news, but my father reached for me and pulled me in. He held me in his arms for a long time, the fur of his parka pressed against my face so that I could hardly breathe. And when he finally let go, I did not give him a single moment to change his mind. Even faster than I had run to the shore, I ran back up to my mother, who was in our tent packing up the belongings we would need for the journey. Mother! Mother! I shouted as I rushed through the entrance. Father says I can go to school this year. He did not say a word. She did not say a word, excuse me. Instead, she set my little sister down on a caribou hide, pushed past me out of the tent, and headed straight for him. I could tell she did not think it was such terrific news. It keeps saying to look at some photos on page 94, so I thought we could look at some of those photos. So here's some photos that go with the story so far. So here's her family at Uplavik. So that's what we were just reading about. Here's her older sister. Everybody's a real people. This is a book of nonfiction, kind of a biography or a memoir. Traveled by dog sled for hours. Here's the author and her father sitting on top of the schooner, which is a boat that we're going to hear more about called the North Star. This is her mother. And here we see the boat that she used to travel. We traveled with 6 other schooners, the caption says beneath the photograph, each carrying as many as 6 or 7 families. Our schooner was the North Star. And then this says, beyond Tuktoyaktuk, the pingos rose out of the ocean like goose eggs with shaped, smashed-in tops. Pingos are formed when a large lump of ice pushes its soil up to make a temporary mountain. Huh. I don't think I've ever heard of a pingo before.